As I continue this podcast journey, I want to keep peeling the curtain back with the behind the scenes look of what goes into podcasting. So I thought, what better way to do that than take you on a day in the life of a podcast host? I rarely set alarms these days. I usually only set alarms if I'm traveling and have to be at the airport insanely early. My alarm nowadays is my dog Bunker. And once we both mutually agree to get out of bed, then it's time to start the morning routine of getting my water, feed Bunker, and make coffee for Amanda and I. And for the last few months, I've tried to start my day off with immediately having water, electrolytes, and creatine monohydrate from a local company here in Austin called BPN. I really feel like this change has helped set the tone for the day for me. It just sort of gets my mind right. Now, while I'm doing that, Bunker usually patiently waits by her food bowl and then sometimes goes back over to her cage and then back to her food bowl while I get her food prepped. She literally lives for Farmer's Dog. This is not sponsored, but man, she loves Farmer's Dog. Usually the previous night, I grab what I have for breakfast every morning, a Fairlife protein shake, and I put it with Bunker's food. That way it sets me up for a grab and go meal in the morning. And typically, once I put Bunker's food down, that gives me a few minutes to get a few more things done. And this is one of the absolute favorite parts of my day, one of my favorite things to do every single day. And that's to bring Amanda coffee in bed. This is something that I truly cherish. And so today's coffee is from a local coffee place here in Austin called Creature Coffee. It's one of our favorites, and just the flavors they have are just so unique. Now, typically, after I drop off the coffee, Bunker has finished our breakfast and is immediately running over to the door to go outside. So we usually go for a little mini walk in the morning while she sniffs everything to find all of the puppy gossip from the previous day. After I get my morning routine done, make coffee, get breakfast, get water, take Bunker out, this is usually the first time where I can sit down after about a half hour, have a little bit of coffee, check what's going on the phone. And it looks like today we've got a 3.25 mile run that I have to do. And I also got a reply from one of my favorite YouTubers, Big E, who I'm also trying to get on the podcast as well. Now, the mornings are honestly my favorite time of day. I don't know why, but I've always been the type of person where as soon as I wake up, I have a surge of creative energy. So before I really do anything in the morning, I usually come down to my studio, and this is where I'm either editing, I'm shooting, I'm writing down ideas for content, or also researching guests as well. And today I've got a pretty big guest coming on, so I'm actually doing some preparation right now and reading through all of the notes that I have lined up for Sydney. I worked on a thumbnail yesterday, and it's honestly, this morning is just a lot of prep work to get ready for that interview later today. Now, I usually spend about a half hour doing this, and then I'll transition, I'll close this laptop, bring out my work laptop, and then I'll spend the next 6 or 7 hours working on my real job. And somewhere in between there, that's usually where I try to find time to knock out my run, get some food, and then tonight we'll sit down and record with Sydney. And the day is filled with a bunch of virtual meetings, getting caught up on emails, and trying to set myself up for a successful tomorrow. Now, I was hoping to knock out my run in between work and the podcast, but unfortunately the day got away from me, and so now it's time to jump right into recording and getting everything set up. I have a setup that is mounted to my desk with a professional microphone, camera, and teleprompter that you're seeing. So it's easier for me to be looking at the camera while I'm either reading questions or reading a script. And it really gives it more of a natural look instead of always having to break eye contact to look over at my notes. Being a host of a podcast, you start to get kind of known for your voice. Over the past few months, I've met a lot of people that have come up to me and said, hey, this probably sounds a little weird, but I actually fall asleep to your podcast because your voice is so soothing. And so with that, I just wanted to give you an idea of what this microphone sounds like versus what my vlog microphone sounds like. So as you can see, there's quite a big difference from this microphone I have on this camera versus the sound quality I'm using to record every single podcast. Okay, I just wrapped up with recording with Sydney, and my goodness, that conversation was so good. It's so crazy to think back from 3 or 4 years ago when I met Sydney for the very first time up in Dallas at his Coffee and Creator meetup.
We just did the giveaway for Coffee and Creators. Dan and Amanda from Austin just won the Amaran P60X.
It's crazy that like going into this, I was so nervous for this episode. I think I just got in my head thinking that this guy's got this huge amount of subscribers, and for some reason, I let that just get away from thinking he's a real person, right? Just like you and I. And Sydney also gave me some great advice of potentially working with some brands. Obviously, being early on in my podcast career, there haven't been a lot of brands that I've worked with yet outside of the paintball industry. However, Sydney gave me a lot of tips on some brands to potentially reach out to you, how to reach out to them, and to help grow this podcast. And so now I'm just going through, as you can see, going through some of the clips to make sure it looks okay, make sure the audio looks good. And then once that's done, it's time to finally get on the road and knock out this run. And then hopefully this weekend will be the last time that this setup is set up this way. I should be spending a lot of time switching all this up to potentially have a completely different background moving forward. So stay tuned for that. I am really excited to see how the office in the studio comes to life. So for this, I'm gonna use slow shoes, what I call them. These are my Brooks Glycerin Max, and you can see they've got huge chunky soles on them, but these are great for like those really slow long runs because they're just comfortable and they're great miles. So yeah, let's go out and knock out that run. Since the start of the year, I've been running a ton. You see, when it comes to exercise, it's the one thing in my life that I've always quit. I've started, I've stopped, but I've always quit when it comes to running. And I've already ran a 5K race this year. And then this weekend, unfortunately, I was supposed to run the 10K here in Austin. But last week, I kind of tweaked my knee a little bit. And so it hasn't really felt the same since. And so, since I got back into town, I've been doing like kind of short runs just to test out my knee. And I still really feel, that my knee's not 100%. But I need to keep it going and keep the progress going. So typically I like to run earlier in the day when I have a lot of motivation, because as the day goes on, I run out of motivation and I start to get pretty tired. And especially like a day like today where I had a full day of work and meetings, and then to jump right into the podcast with Sydney, it was a ton of work. But I gotta show up consistently and give, and I have to receive the same advice that I give everybody else, and that's to stay consistent. All right, I'm gonna go knock out this run, and I'll catch you back in the studio. All right. I just got back from the run, and like I mentioned, my knee was kind of not feeling the greatest still, but that's part of having like a little bit of an injury. And I think last week when I was on vacation, I actually like overused it. We were walking, 10 plus miles a day. Not that I'm complaining at all, because it was absolutely amazing. But then trying to go back and just jump right into training, I think I tweaked it a little bit. So just like anything, it'll take a little bit to get back, and I'll have to kind of work with a little bit of an injury, but hey, that's part of the journey with any type of activity, running or not. So now that I'm back, to wrap up the day, I am going to grab some dinner and then edit the rest of this vlog. and then go jump into editing Sydney's episode so I can get that up for the release of Tuesday. And then one other thing I did is I reached out to a brand today per Sydney's request. So fingers crossed, we'll see if that starts to kind of come to life or take shape here. A lot of really good things ahead for the channel. If you've enjoyed this type of content where I'm kind of taking you on a behind the scenes tour of one, what it's like to be a podcast host, like a day in the life, and two, just more of vlog style of what I'm doing, let me know in the comments below. Your feedback means so much so I can know how I need to grow as a creator as well. All right, I think that's it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.